Oh, good afternoon.
Okay, class, let's take a look. Well, basically, today we're in a new area, which is the chapter number 7, the later history and the spread of the Buddhism. Okay, class, if you do remember that, okay, basically, in the previous lesson, we have already gone through the history of the Buddhism in China. Of course, there will be a little bit gap between for English act people to understand the Buddhism, which is prevalent in China. But anyway, I try my best. So next time, if you go to travel in China, especially Buddhism side, you will get an idea what happened there for the past thousands years. And in Malaysia Buddhism, we inherit partial from Chinese Buddhism, as we studied before. So by knowing the history, you might be quite different from the Theravada tradition, which they don't know what happened to the Buddhism since Asoka, after Asoka. They don't know. They just think that they themselves is the Buddha teaching only. The rest they don't know. They don't know actually they are inherited from Sri Lanka, and Sri Lanka inherited from the Indian mainland. Then Buddhism itself start to develop, have their own development. And the China monk come to travel to the India and bring back the sutra and start develop the history Buddhism in Indian. So for Mr. Leong, Mrs. Leong, since you sometimes you will come across the devotees from Theravada, you can share with them if they are ready and open mind to all this type of fact. It will enhance the unitions between the Buddhists. Okay, so that is the purpose. Okay, Mr. Leong, Mrs. Leong, get it? Okay, possible you will meet somebody who is open mind in Theravada, and then you can share with them this part, this section of history. Possible you will meet them, Mr. Leong, Mrs. Leong.
Yes, can.
Okay,
Can.
good lah, just try lah. Okay, then today we will go to this area, the later spread of history, the later history and spread of Buddhism, which is in the India and the Central Asia. You suppose in the page 194, according to my PDF. Are you able to look it up for that? See, page 194. Okay, so actually, we jump a little bit lah. So in chapter number 5, let's see first. Because in way of Buddhahood, we have learned something already. I try to avoid repeat. Repetitive can cause boring. Actually, still in the chapter 7, okay? Chapter 7. So from China, we finish. We come back to India and Central Asia. Okay. Okay, again, okay, Mr. Leong, Mrs. Leong, you're going to explore the meditation in Theravada tradition. Anyway, after you try out, or maybe as you notice, somebody who do well under the tradition but behave differently, please bear in mind that this is something quite usual also. Recently, I got one case, both of them already finished the Patika Samudpada. They are able to check the past life relationship, but they end up they end up divorced, and also they are about to have a court case actually. This couple, you see or not? So sometimes you meditate well doesn't mean you can communicate well, and the person who meditate well can be chaos in their daily life. Recently just happened this way, both of them disrupt they become a monk and nun before actually. So Mr. Leong, I just let you know human is full of defect so even though Dharma is good, but human is full of defect. They are flawed. So so just don't be surprised once you notice those who attain the jhana or what, then end up in a miserable way. Okay, so well, anyway, I try to open yourself, so that's why I said Chinese Buddhism, the method you may try also. You may try also. But sometimes maybe their method is so simple, but sometimes people behave in a more normal way. It can happen this way. So just open yourself. Okay. Okay, now, yeah, Mr. Leong, yes, okay. You can ask first.
Sifu, maybe they have the wrong view.
Wrong view, but they about finished the whole.
Yeah.
They finished all the method already, still wrong view,
Yeah, because it's their own perception, their own concept, which they think it is.
Yeah. I think maybe it's about the perception aggregate lah. Because the perception aggregate is begin from our childhood, especially our in our family, if we brought up, okay, you may view the thing you may define them in an extreme way, you see, but you can still meditate well because due to the past life karma lah, possible lah, Mr. Leong, so but people will feel confused, how come you can meditate well, but you both end up in the court case, you see, people usually they will lost confidence, generally, except you are senior in the Buddhism, you know all this already lah, so that's why sometimes I would discuss.
Sometimes when they meditate well, but they did not go into vipassana meditation to get the wisdom.
Oh, actually, they have gone through the vipassana already. They even go to the patika samubara and able to check the past life. Both of the past life they are able to check. But just due to the childhood drama, so the family violence happened. Family violence and divorce are due to the family violence. So it can happen this way. Quite a few who finish due to the vipassana, but still disrupt, some is due to also opposite sex issue, and also it could be other issue because it can drop, So that's why I say one method, no matter how this is a method, you learn a method, but anyway, don't make it is the only one only. It is not good nowadays. You say, oh, this is the only way. Okay, especially Satipatthana is the only way for Nibbana. Well, this is a little bit dangerous nowadays if you talk about it in this way, you see. Sometimes people who tell you Satipatthana is the only way, he himself is from already. then what to do, you see? It's quite common in Theravada for this group, So that's why we don't make things become only one only. We have to make it a variety choice for us. We open ourselves. Nowadays it's different already. Have to be like that. Okay, so Sally, know what we talk about. So besides the cheesecake, you can also make European cake for us, which is more healthy. I just bought a bread with less 4%, under 4% of the sugar and also the fat until the end also doesn't want to eat. No end come to the bread. Because it is too healthy, and I have to spread some kaya and also the butter so that I can eat itself. Too healthy already. Yeah, it can happen this way. But anyway, I control. I myself control the sugar and also the fat better than let the factory to control. Factory control die one. They make it delicious must be above 20%. So I myself I just spread a very thin one. Thin one. So I'm on the diet, still on the diet. But I still survive and happily, see. Okay, sugar make you happy. Always remember. Don't just think about it make you fat, it make you happy at the same time. And also the fat, so aroma, but just in a moderate, right? We don't go to extreme, we go to moderate. So later on I will spread some more peanut butter jam to make the life more balanced. Too high fiber, and very expensive for this type of bread. Okay, so we start our class. Okay, we go through the later history and spread of the Buddhism, chapter 7. Okay. So Sally, can you please read the passage?
During the Hindu Gupta dynasty, which ruled from much of North India, Hinduism grew stronger. Buddhism generally continued to flourish, though with the rulers patronizing both religions. During the century from around 450 CE, the White Huns, originally from Central China, devastated
Central Asia.
Oh, sorry. Central Asia, devastated monasteries in Afghanistan, northern Pakistan, and areas of western India. By the 7th century, a slow recovery was being made in the northwest, with the Buddhism of southern Pakistan remaining strong. In the western and some southern religions of India, though, it was losing out to Hinduism and Jainism. From from 750 CE, the most Buddhist Pala dynasty ruled in the northeast, patronizing Buddhism and supporting 5 monastic universities. The major one being the internationally renowned Nalanda. In the 7th century, Pala rule weakened. It was followed in 118 by Hindu Sen dynasty. From 986 CE, the Muslim Turks start raiding northwest India, from Afghanistan, plundering through western India early in the 11th century. Forced conversions to Islam were made, and the Buddhist images smashed due to Islamic dislike of idolatry. Indeed, in India, the Islamic term for an idol become Buddha, but by 1192, the Turks established rule over northern India from Delhi. The northern eastern stronghold of Buddhism then fell, with the destruction of Nalanda University in 1198. In the northeast, east and Kashmir, Buddhism lingered for another 2 centuries or so, with some royal patronage in the latter 2 areas. In Kashmir, it was forcibly snapped out by the Muslims in the 15th century. Buddhist refugees fled to South India, where the Hindu king resisted Muslim power. Southeast Asia, Nepal, and Tibet. What is now known as the Theravada school continued on the southeast coast in Tamil Nadu until at least 17th century, before it withdrew from the war-torn region to the island of Ceylon. From the 16th century, however, it has been reintroduced from Burma to northeastern fringes of the Indian subcontinent.
Okay, never mind. Stop. Can stop here, huh? Big paragraph, huh? Big chapter, huh? Okay, class, let's take a look. Okay, finish. Finish. Okay. Okay. Well, basically, from this section, we know this that the history mentioned here actually it doesn't go very deep, but roughly we know the year, and it is good for us to do a little bit study and try to to form everything up together lah. Let me check first. Because some diagram, we need the diagram, especially the time frame to show us, to easy for us to remember and check the facts out. So remember, we go on diagram. So this is a Chinese one. We don't aim for it. Okay, let's take a look. Remember, we got one good diagram. This one, timeline Buddhism. Let's take a look. Okay, so this is the timeline Buddhism. We got all the year already, see or not? Okay, so I think we need this. Okay, then let's take a look. Wait, let's see. Okay, you are still here, Okay, let's take a look. This is the Hindu Gupta dynasty. Here we roughly know it's about 320 to 540. 320 is about here. 320. You see, we got this is the timeline. You see, this is the something happened in the Indian. Let's take a look. It's 450 before Christ to 1300 century. See, so this is happened in the India here. And this happened, second one is about 450 before Christ. We see early Buddhism, early Buddhist school. And then you see, this is before Christ, and 100 here onwards, it is the century already. So this is the before Christ, you see. And then from here is the point where we try to see. And from here onwards, Sri Lanka Buddhism, actually the Theravada Buddhism happened quite early already, 250, meaning to say after during the Asoka time, it start already. Then until to the later stage, then we come to the Central Asia. Remember, Central Asia means Afghanistan and the Pakistan. Do you know or not? Actually, Pakistan, Afghanistan, they were previously, Buddhist country. You know that? They flourished for about 1,000 years after the flourishing of the Islam. Oh, then the history changed already. Yeah, they are very strong Muslim. So that so actually until now, no people will realize that Afghanistan, Pakistan, that previously a Buddhism country. No people will realize that, including Xinjiang. All thought they are Muslim country. They are Muslim Muslim related for a long age. Dated from long old age until now. Actually, no. There were some changes actually. Okay, again we take a look here. Central Asia we involve. Okay, then East Asia also we involve. You see, East Asia from here we begin with take a look. So that is 100 CE. So this is started for the century. This is before Christ. This is after Christ. Then let's take a look. According here, you see, Hindu Gupta dynasty is the 320 to 540. 320 is about here. It's about this time. This is about the Gupta dynasty is about the early Buddhist school and the Mahayana school. It's under this category, Gupta. Okay. Then let's take a look. 320540, you see, which rule most of the North Indian. Plus, let's take a look. North Indian. If I talk about North Indian, meaning to say that it's in East Asia already. See or not? Not Indian, it's in the East Asia, not Indian, Afghanistan, Pakistan. So we don't see Afghanistan, Pakistan here. So it's about here. Okay. It should be the Central Asia. Sorry. Not, the Northwest India should be the Central Asia, Afghanistan, Pakistan. Then let's take a look. This is the Gupta dynasty. Okay, Hinduism grew stronger at that time. Now, Buddhism it started growing strong. But 320 to 540, you see, take a look. Actually, at that time, it's in between the school, the flourishing of the school, different school, and the Mahayana. So, meaning to say, at this time, in this time era, Hinduism is getting stronger and influential. That's why some scholars they suggest that partial of Mahayana influenced by Hinduism. You heard about that? You heard about that, right? Okay. Some they will argue a partial of the Mahayana they're influenced by the Hinduism. For example, like our Guan Yin, thousand hand Guan Yin. Some they say, don't know some way. How come this type Guan Yin, Manjushri, all they will appeared. So some they're skeptical that maybe it's originated from Hinduism. Okay. So that's why there's a big portion of the Theravada, once they know these facts from the history of the Buddhism, they'll be very happy. Okay, they will tell the whole world that so that Mahayana is the fake money. That the previous way, Mahayana is the fake money, is the counterfeit money. Okay, whereas for us, for those who believe, I think it is good to believe there will the existence of the bodhisattva, a variety of bodhisattva, and the pure land. But sometimes, if you just believe the pure land and also the bodhisattva, and ignoring the meditation in samatha vipassana, sometimes you will be over faith oriented. If you, I mean, actually it depends on capacity. Like here, Mr. Leong, Mrs. Leong, Mr. Leong is considered intellectual type people. You should go through the samatha vipassana, logically speaking. But for Mrs. Leong, are more faith type people, it is good for Mrs. Leong to take the part, the part which relate to the faith part. Semi, the way I see it. Yeah, so what I mean is for Theravada, if let's say you only emphasize, you deny the pure land and also the variety of the bodhisattva, so where what can the faith type people to believe? Am I right? Because they want the faith, what? They want the bodhisattva, they want the pure land. You cannot provide to them already. So Theravada end up they can't provide anything. So do you have to, you have to pay your attention and respect just to the Sangha only, the people who still living only, because you don't have the pure land belief. But the rest of Mahayana, we still have this choice. And now actually, if it says influenced by Hinduism, it just scholastically, the proof, the authentication is from the scholastic only. No people can tell you the truth. But anyway, we know this that certain type of the medium, they are able to see the pure land and also the variety of the bodhisattva. So I suspect maybe in the very beginning we just have meditation only, samatha vipassana. But later on, the one group of the medium, they come in, they join in. They're able to see a variety of the bodhisattva, including the pure land. So I think this part, in my opinion, I think it happened in this way. So that's why in our sutra, we got two sections, especially from Mahayana beginner. So one section is just the samatha vipassana, another section is a variety of the pure land and also the bodhisattva. Well, the way I see it now, sometimes the pure land and bodhisattva, it could be our minor subject, because you can do samatha vipassana once you are strong. But what happens if you are weak? If you are weak, you still can rely on bodhisattva or the pure land. That the way I see in Theravada, they only rely on samatha vipassana if it doesn't work, and some adversary happen, so they can the outcome only the only outcome is disrobe only. Because they don't have other choice. Whereas for Mahayana, we still got a variety of the choice. You can just rest on the bodhisattva once you are very weak. But when you're getting stronger, you can turn out to the self-reliant method. Okay, so I try to set it in the more balanced and moderate way lah. Without denying anything. We accept everything. We got reason behind why we have to choose to believe everything. What is available nowadays lah. Okay, let's take a look. You see, then you see, during the century, you see, the ruler patronizing both religions. Yes, the ruler, at that time, the ruler. Who is the ruler here? Gupta. Okay, and also in 450 is a white Hans, originated from Central Asia. 450 is before, still before Mahayana lah. The period before Mahayana. Wait lah. 450. Let me see. Just 450. 450 is somewhere here. Still 450 is still the Gupta lah. It's in this section. Well, 450 from history. Chinese monk start traveling to India already. Fa Xian is it's the first Chinese monk to travel, and he looked for the Vinaya from Mahasangika. And he began, you know, the age he began travel is about 60 years old. 60, Sally. Can you imagine how once your age is 60 and you start traveling from China, the Xi'an to Indian. Of course, before departure, you have to learn the Sanskrit. Of course, you got to learn the Sanskrit before the departure. Let's take a look. We have to praise for their courageous. Really praise for the courageous. So this is the trip from the Xi'an, China, travel to the India. Just for the Vinaya Mahasangika. It's before, the 400 years. 400 years. Let me close this first. Okay. So it's about 450, before 450 now. Yes, Mr. Leong, anything, please?
Sifu, who are these white Hans instead of the yellow Hans?
Oh, okay. Well, let me check for you first. White Hans. You mean who is it? Okay. It's the White Han is originated from the Central Asia. White Han. Let me check the Chinese name first. White Han. White Han. Oh, I see. Oh, okay. I got it. The White Hans. Okay, maybe I give you the English. It's the best. White Han. Also known as the White Hunus is Iranian. As the okay, I don't know how to pronounce. So actually they are the Iranian. Iranian. White Hans. We call it as Iranian. Actually, basically, actually in Chinese Buddhism, they are quite famous. Famous in what? Famous for the invasion to the China. This is the Iranian. Iranian is Iran. Iran. Iranian. Iran. Iraq.
Who should be Iran?
Iran. R-A-N, right?
R-A-N.
R-A-N. I don't see R-A-N.
God. R-A-N. Iran. God.
Okay, Iran. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, it doesn't show because Google doesn't show because no transportation. So this is the Iran. The Han, the White Han, they are from Iran. Actually, they are very strong. They invade China once in a while. So China king actually quite frightened for them. They are very good in hunting or in riding the horse. So this is the White Han. They originated from Iran. In Cantonese, we call it as Quảng Đông Hoa, Hong Lou. Hong Lou. Actually, Hong Lo, why is it so famous? It's about what? Have you heard about 13 gold medal from the king to call a soldiers to go back? 13 gold medal? No, 12 gold medal. Have you ever heard about that? 12 gold medal from the king to call back, the soldier. Have you heard about the legend there?
Is this a Chinese legend?
Yes, it's a Chinese legend. Not the
Power.
legend. It's a historical fact. You don't know, huh? If you know this, then you will know that because it's very famous, because there is one a soldier, his mother, tried to at the back at his back use the needle, to carve, be royal to the country. Heard about that? Still don't know. Okay. Because I know, because you are English act, so you don't know. For most of the Chinese act people, they will know that. Okay, so never mind. Okay, you don't know, it's okay. So this is the White Han. You have to know that part of history. The origin from the Central Asia, devastated the monastery in Afghanistan and the northern Pakistan, you see, an area of the Western India. So about this part, see or not? They try to destroy the whole temple. It's somewhere here. Whereas in the Pakistan, this is Chinese, you don't understand. Let's see, got English or not? I should. Okay, let's take a look. Iran. Now, see, here is the Iran. Here is the Indian here. Okay, basically, you see Afghanistan, Pakistan. Okay, they are quite famous in ancient Buddhism, especially in Pakistan. The place we call it as
Gandhara.
Yeah, Gandhara. Yeah, we call it as Gandhara for this area. Gandhara Buddhism. And nowadays the museum, you can discover a lot of artifact in the museum in Gandhara. There's somewhere around Afghanistan and the Pakistan. There's one place in the Pakistan we call it as a Pensawa. See, Pensawa. Pensawa is famous because you can notice the Mahayana of the Mahayana school, especially is originated, Asanka and also Wuzhou and also the Vasubantu. The hometown is in the Pensawa. And Asanka, he is the origin of the Mahayana school, Yogacara Bhumi. And he become a monk in the Saraswati and he depart to the Ayodhya Indian, this part in the Ayodhya. Let me see Ayodhya. Ayodhya. Yes, this part. Ayodhya is the origin of the Yogacara school. Yogacara school is very famous for the meditation. You see, now this is the Ayodhya. See, Ayodhya here. Now you see the Ayodhya here. Here's the Petsawa. So they depart to here, from here, and start to origin the Yogacara school. According to the legend, during the meditation, Asanga able to go to the Tushita and met Maitreya Buddha. So partial of the sutra, partial of the commentary from the Yogacara Bhumi is from Maitreya Buddha. This is the legend in the Mahayana school. Okay, next let's take a look. So we roughly know about this. Then you see, by the 7th century, it happened is by the 7th century. We see 7th century. 7th century is about 600. You see, 7th century is in the Mahayana already. Meaning to say, in the Mahayana, all this thing is happening already. See or not? Meaning to say that the White Hand go to destroy Afghanistan, northern Pakistan, Western India. So during Mahayana school, this part is starting convert, starting destroy, and is about to convert to what? To the Muslim country already. You see, it's begin from about 1,000 years, 1,000, about 1,000 CE, it start to convert the whole Buddhism, become a Muslim country already. Then you see, about this time, you were losing out to the Hinduism and Jainism. We don't roughly know the Jainism, but from 750, the mostly Buddhists are Pala dynasty, and they start to supporting the 5 monastic university. One major renowned is the Nalanda, 750. Let's take a look, 750. So this is the 750 is about, it's in between Mahayana and the Vajrayana. Just heard about it or not? Actually, 5 of the university, one is about the Vajrayana. But here we focus on is the Nalanda. Nalanda is the school where Xuanzhuang, Nalanda actually is the destination for the Xuanzhuang. Nalanda. Here is the Nalanda school. Let's see for it. Nalanda. Nalanda in Bihar. It's a Xi'an. Now, class, take a look. It's about 7th century. Xuanzhuang start to travel from Xi'an and come to the Nalanda. And he aimed for his teacher, who is the top teacher in the Nalanda, who was teaching Yugachara Bhumi at that time. So this is what happened at this time of 750, before 750, you see. And then from here you see it's about the 1118 by the Hindu Zen dynasty. There's one more dynasty, it's the Zen dynasty. Okay, let me try to look for you. Zen dynasty. Okay, the history seems a little bit brief. Zen dynasty. Hindu dynasty, early medieval period on the Indian subcontinent, ruled from the Bengal through the 11th and 12th century. There's a Sena dynasty, Shan dynasty. So let me check first the Chinese, how do we call it? Okay, class, basically this Shan dynasty in our Chinese textbook, it is also not a very popular, quite rare. So I'm quite surprised the author put this part in the text. Then later on, this is the part which is very saddening, is the Muslim part. They are start to raiding from the North Part Indian. See, take a look. The Muslim part. From the north part of India, they try to conquer the whole thing already. They start from here. It's about 1,000 years. After the Christ, 1,000 years, the whole area turned out become the Muslim due to the Tak, you see. So basically, Islamic dislike of the idolatry. They don't like the idol. I remember many years ago, I traveled to the North Indian and I met an Israel girl. Actually, 5 of us, we all met together because we go to the Indian monastery, the ashram, individually. So one of the Israel girl, who is the psychology, she did mention to us that for us, for them, actually they also, I remember they say if they don't have the choice, either die or eat the pork, they will choose eat the pork, but they won't sacrifice their life. But if the choice is in between die and how to say, worship the idol, then they are willing to die. So we need to say that for all the monotheism, they are so emphasized, they are very emphasized, no pay worship to the idolism. So this is the reason why the Muslim try to destroy all the Buddha statue at that time. So this is what happening. Basically, Muslim at that time, they are very powerful. This section of the history, actually, you can get. It is available in the Islam Museum in KL. Plus, if possible, you got time, can please pay a visit to the to the museum here. I went there before. Yeah, you have to buy the ticket, but worth. So this is the session. Let me show you. In Malaysia, the Muslim Islam Museum, Islamic Art Museum. You can pay a visit there from if let's say from Erti, maybe from Shah Alam, from Mr. Leong, Mrs. Leong house. Okay, if let's say by travel, it take you 36 minutes to reach there. But for this Islamic Art Museum, quite worth for to visit, especially once you reach there, Islam Art Museum, KL. What you're able to see is the history, especially the part relates, to the destroy of the Buddhism after 1,000 years after the Christ. This is the art museum. Looks beautiful, luxury. Of course, the ticket also expensive lah. But anyway, it worth it because they got so many stories. So there's one section that they mentioned that they conquer the world through the war. They don't deny that. I remember the name of the king is Muhammad something I forgot already many years ago. So he is the one who used the sword to conquer the whole. The northwestern part of India. So it turned the whole part and up become from Buddhism to the Muslim religions. Okay, then here that's what we see here. Then you see it starts from 1192. The destruction of the whole Nalanda is 1198. They destroy the whole University of Nalanda. And I remember the annihilation of the Buddhism in India is about this time, 1200, you see, totally gone already until this part, 1200. No more Buddhism already, you see, 1200. So meaning to say before 1200, we notice that they start to burning the Buddhism here. See, 1198. Meaning to say that the destruction of the Nalanda as a benchmark for the total destruction of Buddhism in India. Sad okay. According to the legend, they try to burn the Sutra Pitaka in the Nalanda. It takes 7 days, 6 nights to finish burning the whole thing from the Muslim. You heard about that or not? Meaning to say there got so many texts. I think maybe the texts are still mostly in the form of the tree, the kulipokok, the fur, the skin of the tree, the carve on the skin of the tree, maybe some carve on the leaf. So they try to burn it for 7 days, 6 nights, also cannot finish burn it out. Okay, but have you heard about the words we call it as extreme Buddhism or not? Recently, you heard about the name? Recently, they got a few Buddhist leaders. They take a more extreme way. They try to burn the other religion. It happened in Sri Lanka and also in Myanmar. Basically, we call them as the terrorism in Buddhism. I remember one of the terrorism, these are they are monk but they go in a more extreme way. Why they will have to behave in this way? So they quote the history. They say, before 1000 after Christ, the northwest Indian, Pakistan, Afghanistan all belong to Buddhism. Since we are very weak, so now it turned out become Muslim already. And now I burn the most of the Muslim. Anything wrong with me, he said. I go through the documentary. You can try to go through this. So you heard about this. Mr. Leong, you never heard about that? Terrorism in Buddhism.
I've heard it, but I don't know the details.
Oh, okay. I think never mind. Don't go to the details, because the more detail you know, the more hatred you will arise. Am I right? Not good lah, because they are spreading the hatred. So they say, you see, you all burn our Buddhism, now I burn your mosque. You see or not? Well, I think this fellow involved lah. We roughly know will be enough lah. Well, I have to tell you because they put this case, you know, it's very quite famous reason. They call it a terror in Buddhism. Terrorism in Buddhism.
Actually, this was in Myanmar.
What lah? In Myanmar,
It's
Sri
in
Lanka
Myanmar.
also got. Sri Lanka also got.
Myanmar and Sri Lanka.
Yes. You know that, Sally?
No, it's in the Google now.
What lah?
I'm looking at the Google now.
You look at, yeah. Yes, it happened that, you see. It's about 2013, a few years ago lah. It happened.
Yeah, a few years ago lah.
Yeah. So this is the argument point. But forget about that lah. Never mind. Just give them or Pakistan, Afghanistan, Xinjiang. Just give them and never mind. Now the place, you see, they are using the terror to conquer the terror, end up endless of the war and poverty. You see, am I right? Afghanistan, Pakistan, endless the war. See, because they are using the war to solve the problem. It still end up with the war. See, so Buddhism is still the best way. You should spread the love. Okay, next, let's take a look. And then you see in Kashmir, it was forcibly stamped out by the Muslim also in the 15th century. Once we talk about the Kashmir, I think you will like it a lot because this is a very beautiful country. The Kashmir. See, let me show you the Kashmir. This is where the Kashmir is. Kashmir. Usually they call it Kashmir and Jammu lah. So it's about this area. Okay. This is the Kashmir. Mr. Leong, can you imagine? A lot of monks all meditate there. Does it look beautiful? All the monks meditate surrounding here.
Yeah, the place looks serene and beautiful and calm.
Yeah, but now end up all become the Muslim praying already. Yeah, they all have been chased out. It's about 15th century. Never mind, next time we go and travel there, see whether we can. So we meditate there as a revenge. Never mind, we have a look. You see, according to the our Mahayana text, it mentioned actually this place very suitable for meditation because this one, the Kashmir and Jammu, basically the altitude is very high. You know, the altitude is quite high. You see, so very suitable and very cold, very suitable for a meditation. So this is a very famous. It's origin from the Sarvastivada, the school of the Sarvastivada. So Sarvastivada, there was once very flourishing here with the support from the King Asoka. They already compiled Mahavaibhasika, the Abhidhamma Mahavaibhasika was compiled here. So here is the Kashmir. So we let's take a look. This is the benchmark. Kashmir Jammu. We use India as a benchmark. Let's see how is it. Okay. So here is India. Here is the Kashmir and Jammu. See or not? India, Kashmir, and Jammu, and this part. But I think recently there's still a lot of war there lah. Okay. Luckily Elena there is not here. If she is here, I will discourage her to travel Kashmir because she prefer travel the place which is very special one, you know. Even though in the war. Okay. So it's not a good place now to travel there. Then you see how Buddhist refugees fled to the South Indian, Southeast Indian, Nepal and the Tibet, you see or not? They try to flow from Kashmir. Sorry, preferably I use this Kashmir. Kashmir. And this is the India. Kashmir and Jammu. Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, let's take a look. So this is the Kashmir and Jammu. So during at that time, once the Muslim conquer, so the Buddhists, they try to flee it to the Tibet. They go to the Xinjiang, and some go to the north part of India. So because the power begin from here, from Arab, you see, here's the Arab. So they start to conquer the Iran and the Afghanistan. Then they chase away all the Buddhists from here. So meaning to say, if they come, if they incur the war, the only place they can go either come to India or they go to Xinjiang, China. That's the only place that the Buddhists can flow there, can run away, once they have been chased away by the king here, by the Muslim here. Okay, then you see he said, what is now known as the Theravada school, continue on the southeast coast. So meaning to say that this part of the history a little bit different what we know. In the very beginning, I remember we said the Buddhism from here directly come to Sri Lanka already. You see, according to our this map, see or not? This is, you see, the Sri Lanka and the Southeast Asia. From 250 immediate, actually, Sri Lanka Buddhism the Buddhism is in Sri Lanka already. But according to this text, that will be a little bit different. See or not? So they say, 15th century, they're still in the southeast part. Later on, they go to the Theravada 17th century, and then they go to the island of the Ceylon. So they will be a little bit different now. Then you see from here, it had been reintroduced from Burma to the northeastern fringes of the subcontinent. From Burma, they go back to the Indian again. It's about in 16th century. Okay, next paragraph. Yeah. Okay. Mr. Leong, can you please read the passage? Not over Tibet, please.
North of Tibet in the area known as Central Asia Road, along it from China to northwest India and even to the Mediterranean world. Among Indian merchants were many Buddhists who, often accompanied by the wandering monks, helped spread the religion in Central Asia. Buddhism was present in the region from the 2nd century BCE and in the 1st century CE. The Sarvastivada fraternity flourished, served many monks, Mahayana ideas and practices. Central Asia remained Buddhist until the 10th or 11th century when the Turks brought conversions to Islam. What factors contribute to the decline and virtual demise of Buddhism within the Indian subcontinent, excluding the Himalayan region and Ceylon? One was a dilution of the distinctiveness of Buddhism relative to the rising power of Hinduism. Mahayana writers were quite critical of Hinduism, but the surface similarities of Hindu and the Mahayana devotional cults and Tantrism may have led to the laity to perceive the two religions are quite similar. Hinduism also borrowed elements from Buddhism. The devotees of the god Vishnu came to frown on animal sacrifices and to practice vegetarianism, also influenced by Jainism. While some Swavites, followers of the god Shiva, view caste distinctions as being of little relevance to religious practice. The great theologian Sankara developed a monasticism paralleling that of the Sangha, and also used the Buddhist concept of two levels of truth, already borrowed from his predecessor Gaudapada, 7th century. Hinduism could not ignore the Buddhas, but by around the 6th century, it recognized him as the ninth incarnation of Vishnu. In contrast, in Buddhist Ceylon, Vishnu came to be seen as a bodhisattva, that is, one who would be a Buddha in the future. Hinduism hostility also played a part. The Buddha incarnation was seen as a way to delude demons into denying the authority of the Vedas so as to lead them to hell. Sankara described the Buddha as an enemy of the people, and sporadic persecution was directed at Buddhists from the 6th century. There is also evidence for social ostracism of Buddhists, probably due to the lack of enthusiasm for the caste system, which became particularly influential on society from around 600 CE. While Buddhism sought to influence society from its monastic centers, Hinduism wove itself into the fabric of society through the caste system, with Brahmin priests having a certain authority over others within it. Unlike the more universal Buddhism, Hinduism came to be seen as the national religion of India. The Muslim invasions were the worst blow. However, for Buddhism, defenders and unlike Shriya warrior class, it lacked a soldierly spirit. The Sangha, whose survival is essential for the flourishing of Buddhism, was an early, identifiable, and thus vulnerable institution. The devastation of agriculture due to the invasions almost meant that the laity no longer had surplus to support their monks. The Sangha thus died out in most areas and could not be revived without existing monks to ordain new ones. Between the alien Muslims and their doctrinal justification of a holy war to spread the faith, and Hindus closely identified with Indian culture and with a more entrenched social dimension, the Buddhists were squeezed out of existence. Lay Buddhists were left with a folk form of Buddhism and gradually merged into Hinduism or converted to Islam. Buddhism therefore died out in all but the fringes of its homeland, though it had long since spread beyond it.
Thank you so much. But sounds very sad, right? Mr. Leong, you read the sentence, I mean, the whole Buddhism gone already, you know.
we feeling.
Yeah. Okay, never mind, huh? We just be mindful to the history, huh? Don't be sad. Okay, huh? So we try to digest, see what's the reason, huh? The whole Buddhism gone, huh? Okay. Yeah, raise hand please once you finish. Okay, thank you so much. So now let's try to talk about why Buddhism totally gone, removed from the from the Indian, the continent of the Indian. So number one, at that time, number one is quite obviously it's because the Muslim start to emerge a very strong power, especially in Afghanistan, Pakistan in the 1st century. They start to wipe all the monastery already. Then the Muslim start to invading the whole subcontinent of India. They start to invading. Then second, according to the history, the monk at that time they don't really concern over to the devotees. See, if compared with the Hinduism, their beliefs are more outreach and really go to the fabric, the fundamental stage of the devotee in Hinduism. But the monk at that time, no. The third one, they mutually influence to each other. Plus, just now Mr. Leong read, he say, Hinduism, they reckon, they try to control the whole community through the casta system, you see. But for Buddhism, we deny the casta system. So there's a contradiction between us. So they try to spread the rumors that they say the Buddhism is very bad. So the rumors start to spread out already. And yet, in Hinduism, they come out as the Sankara, who is quite famous in debating. He also formed, the Sangha, and their powerful is so strong. They go to challenge most of the Buddhism organization. They challenge the monk. If you lose, if you lost out in the debate, either you chop your head, or you hold of the conversion from the Buddhism to the Hinduism. The Sangha is staring to challenge in this way, you see. So at that time, the monk there's no more talented monk. So what is the consequence? The consequence is you lost in the debate. So most of the monastery turn out become the Hinduism. And then one factor they keep on blaming that is because the merging between Hinduism and the Buddhism. Once both of them merge together, most of the devotees they confused already. So in the view of the point for the Hinduism, Shakyamuni is the 7th reincarnation of the Vishnu. See or not? Then in Sri Lanka, they say Vishnu is one of the Bodhisattva. I'm quite curious. Let's take a look. We take a look to the Vishnu. Is it look like which one of the Bodhisattva in our Buddhism? I mentioned Vishnu. Vishnu. Let's see. Vishnu is the god for destroy, Okay. So class, this is the Vishnu.
No, Shiva is a lot of destroyer.
Shiva, no. Vishnu is a destroyer. Never mind. Let's take a look. Now Vishnu is the one in the Bodhisattva. Shiva is the creator. Okay, you see, this is the Vishnu. Okay. The deity of Hinduism. Let's check it first. Vishnu. Okay. Supreme being. Principle. He is the supreme being known as the preserver. Hey, preserver. Okay, include Brahma. Vishnu is the supreme being who create, protect, and transform the universe. Oh, okay. So maybe I make a mistake. Let's see. So which one is the god of the destroyer? Let's see. Shiva, it is a destroy. Okay, Hara, one of the principle. Destroyer. So I recall wrongly already, Mr. Leong. So this is the god of the creator for Vishnu. But you see, they claim in Shalom Buddhism, claim him as a Bodhisattva. Which one Bodhisattva he look like? It doesn't look like the Manjushri or Puxian Pusa, Dizang Pusa. Neither one. It doesn't look like neither one. Right, not? See? Forehand. We don't have the Bodhisattva with forehand, right? Either Junti Bodhisattva got many hands, 1,000 hands, but just 4 hands. It doesn't look like. So I think this is not the Bodhisattva popular in Mahayana, or maybe in the Ceylon Buddhism.
Sifu, in
Ah.
Hinduism, the god with the 4 hands is actually Kuan Yin. In the Hinduism tradition.
Again. Sorry?
The Hindu god with the 4 hands, yeah, represents actually Kuan Yin in the Hindu tradition.
I know, it's a God of mercy. But I mean, if let's say, maybe in Mahayana, there will certain part have been influenced by them, maybe we have to really, try to look for some image which is very close looking, but it doesn't look close looking. Am I right? Because Kuan Yin in Mahayana, either 2 hands with a white cloth or 1,000 hands. No 4 hand Kuan Yin in our Buddhism, you know. That's why I say academically, they look for the similarity. They say, oh, this one Hinduism influenced Buddhism, but we don't see the image 4 hand Kuan Yin. So I mean, this evidence, this is not evidential, the way I see it. So I think I choose to believe the medium, because the medium, they come to our temple, they're able to see 1,000 hand Kuan Yin, or the Kuan Yin in the white cloak. They don't never see 4 hand Kuan Yin. If the 4 hand Kuan Yin must be in the Tibetan one. If that's the case, I rather believe the medium more than believe the academician. All right, no. Because if you stick to the way of the academician, you will end up, you lost your belief, you see. Meaning, what does that mean? The academician try to tell you all the thing is the fake one. Am I right? No need to believe what. This is what their intention. I don't buy that from the academician. I rather believe the medium, what the medium see. Okay, so let's take a look. This is what just now we discussed about. So number one, you see, talk about the Silk Road, because we know that the Silk Road is quite famous for the propagation of Buddhism, and able to see the Sarvastivada fraternity flourishing is in the 1st century. Then let's take a look. So why the decline is because the dilution between the Buddhism and the Hinduism. Number one, especially the Vajrayana involved. See, so we discussed all this already. Then we talk about the Sankara. So Sankara is the one who formed the Sangha and try to borrow the concept from the Buddhism. And this is the Vishnu. Just now we talked about already. Then here again, it says Sankara described the Buddha as an enemy of the people. Okay, just now we mentioned this also. Then Muslim invasion. So we know that already. So finally, okay, finished already. Okay, so the history of Buddhism for India is very short actually. So in next lesson we go to the Sri Lanka.